Let's take a look at how to solve two-step equations. If you can solve a one-step equation, pretty much this should be the next step of your understanding. We have negative 5x plus 16 equals negative 14, and the first thing you have to do is find the variable. You want to get that variable, that x right there, all by itself. So what happens next? Well, what are the numbers that you have to get rid of? If you think of the equal sign as the middle of the equation, you could kind of draw like an imaginary line right through that equal sign, and that separates it into the left side and the right side. The variable right now is on the left side, so that means that we've got to get rid of the 5 and the 16. Those are the numbers that we have to get rid of. They're on the same side of the variable. How do we get rid of them? Well, we're going to use the inverse operations. We're going to do the opposite, but which one do we get rid of first? It's got to be the add or subtract number, and then we'll move the multiply and divide number. So let's go identify the numbers. That negative 5 is sitting right up against the x, so that's a multiplication. Okay, when it's sitting right up against it, that is multiplying. The 16, you can see the plus signs right in front of it, so that's your add number, and that's the number we have to get rid of first. So again, use inverse operations. If we're adding, we're going to turn around and subtract. So you write minus 16. But you've got to do it to both sides, so go to the other side of the equal sign and write down minus 16. And now we're just going to come all the way back to the left side of the equation and work our way through. Negative 5x comes straight down because nothing's happening right there. 16 minus 16 is 0, so it kind of like boxes up and just blows up. It's gone. The equal sign can come straight down, and then negative 14 minus 16 is negative 30. For me, I usually like to scooch the negative 5x over to the equal sign so it looks a little neater. Now, how do we get rid of the negative 5? It's multiplying, so we're just going to turn around and divide negative 5 by negative 5. Remember to do it to the other side of the equation. The negative 5 cancels out. It'd be a positive 1, so we don't need to write it, and the x is free to just drop straight down. So does the equal sign. And then the last part of this equation right here is negative 30 divided by negative 5 is positive 6. One more. How do you do this type of two-step equation? Well, again, where's the variable at? It's the w. It's right there. What numbers do we need to get moved? It's the same numbers that are sitting on the same side of the equation as the variable. So it's the negative 5 and the 8. Get rid of the add or subtract number first. Well, that looks like that'll be the negative 5 because it says negative 5 plus w. So right there, we'll just put plus 5 underneath it. And then we come over here and we go plus 5 on the other side of the equation. Left to right, we get negative 25 equals, well, that cancels, and now we can drop the plus w divided by 8. Anytime that you have a plus sign that drops down, really you probably don't need to pull that down anymore. If it's a minus sign, we sure would. Now let's scooch that a little bit closer to the equal sign. W is being divided by 8, so now we can get rid of the multiplication or division number, so that's the 8 we need to get rid of. We'll do inverse times it by 8 times the other side by 8, and we get negative 200 equals W.